As Vanessa shared her story with me, she wrote, "These are a few quotes that resonated with me recently that I would like to share. Comparison is a thief of joy. Worry about loving yourself instead of the idea of other people loving you. Until you make peace with who you are, you will never be confident with what you have. The greatest prison you can live in is fear of what other people think. The strongest actions for a woman is to love herself, be herself, and shine amongst those who never believed she could. These are the perfect flaws of motherhood."
People never talk about their losses. No one wants pity, no one wants to feel that sadness. I understand that fully, because just thinking about it hurts. I had 2 miscarriages. It sucked, both times. My heart ached from wanting a baby so badly and feeling like I was the only woman alive who couldn't conceive a healthy baby. I cried a lot. I want women to know that they aren't alone. All hope is not lost just because they feel lost themselves. I have an amazing, healthy, living daughter who I love more than I could ever put into words. My daughter, even though she's not quite 2, she's shown me hope. Because of her, I'm a better person. Because of her, I embraced life instead of complaining about what flaws there are in the world. I want to be strong. Positive influence in her life, even if it means posing what seems like naked to prove that I am strong and beautiful despite what magazines say, despite what anyone says. My whole life, women around me had something they hated about themselves. It's almost like a competition. Who can pick themselves apart the most? I want to be a positive influence in her life, because no matter how she looks, I will think she's the most beautiful little girl I have ever seen. If I could tell all moms, all women one thing, it's don't give up hope and be strong.
The birth of my son Grayson was not the magical memory I had dreamt and prepared for during the months he was in my belly. My husband and I had a difficult time conceiving, and once we were successful, we couldn't have been more excited. Little did I know that I would have a very difficult birth from the magical one I had envisioned. As my due date came and went, I grew more and more anxious. Finally, a week later, my water began to leak and we went to the hospital. Due to the increased risk of infection since my water had broken, I began to feel pressure to accept intervention. The strong contractions triggered by the medication began to result in complications. I was informed that I could no longer delay and I needed an emergency C-section. Grayson may not have entered this world in the way that we had pictured, but by the grace of God, he is happy and healthy, and for that I am so grateful.
Motherhood is a struggle internally and externally. It's also the biggest blessing anyone could ever experience. My first 2 births were not exactly what I envisioned as being this great day welcoming a new life into the world. My 3rd birth changed me forever. It changed the way I view birth and the way I view this beautiful new life coming earthside. Delivering my 3rd baby all by myself in a birthing tub in my own bedroom with my own hands rattled my world into a new dimension of realizing what my calling in life is. I've always endeavored to be a public servant, to serve others in protecting them and helping emergencies firsthand. I now realize that my calling is to birth and motherhood, to serve mothers the way they deserve to be served, with the birth that they want. All of my children have taught me unteachable lessons from anyone else in this world. The biggest lesson is love. Loving this little being so unconditionally it hurts joyously as they venture through life, blossoming into beautiful young ladies. The stretch marks on my stomach are minimal and can fade away, but show the ultimate blessings of motherhood. Whether it be easy or hard, you gain this new life that forever holds a piece of your heart outside of your body.
I struggled with my weight after my first pregnancy, and once I finally got all of the weight off, almost 3 years later, I got pregnant again. I fully embraced being pregnant the second time around, and I totally fell in love with my body during pregnancy. Now, after baby number 2, my body is perfectly imperfect. I'm still holding on to an extra 10 pounds because of breastfeeding, but I'm giving my child the best thing possible by breastfeeding. I don't always have time to work out, but I eat right, and at the end of the day, my babies are happy, and that's all that matters. I love my body and the fact that it grew and birthed 2 amazing kiddos.
I've always been an energetic social butterfly and never really thought about what body type I was, nor was I ever pressured to. I'd say I was actually quite confident with myself and relied on my fun personality regardless of how good my body looked. I grew up with a strong, close-knit, active family with very engaged parents. Interestingly enough, this confidence took a drastic dip when I got married in 2011. A time in life where you meet your other half and they're supposed to build you up. A time where you feel the most accomplished, loved, and yes, sexy. There were a lot of little factors that I didn't realize that ate at my self-worth over time. I was raised a country girl with literally a backwoods store out in the sticks, and I married into a family with a white picket fence, city slicker type lifestyle. The family, especially his sisters, alienated me and talked trash about me. He let them talk bad about me, and it's worse because he laughed or agreed right along with them. Then came to me telling me what they said. It made me feel just how much they were ashamed of me. Furthermore, I started to feel unaccomplished and ashamed of myself as well. I started noticing my body. I wasn't good enough, I wasn't pretty enough. I did, however, happen to get pregnant and felt so ashamed of my increasingly bigger body as it made room for my darling, sweet baby girl. Although I was elated to have a beautiful baby girl who's my everything else seemed to put me into a deep depression, being bedridden essentially with the surgery. Not only that, but the excess skin from birth just hangs over that scar like a personal skin apron. I was so lost and cried myself to sleep. Many nights wishing I was good enough, pretty enough, and accomplished enough to be loved. I just felt invisible in my own life. Within the past couple months, I have moved to the beautiful state of Hawaii and have let the warm weather sink into my soul. I have extracted toxins from my life, whether they be negative thinking, unhealthy habits, or negative people that bring me down or purposefully make me feel inferior. More importantly, I have found the determination to change the way I view myself for my daughter's sake. We create life. We do not and should not be ashamed of our bodies for bringing in such wonderful little children into the world.
I am the mom to 4 beautiful children, ages 8 to 2. My kids are my world, but at some point in time, I realized that I became so utterly invested in my children's life that I lost track of me. I realized that I had gone from 115 pounds pre-child weight to 190 pounds. I slowly started getting back into a healthy lifestyle. I lost 45 pounds. No matter how much I lost, the skin still sagged and the stretch marks still scarred my skin. I went into depression and started hating my body and gave up my healthy routine. I put most of my weight back on. A couple months ago, I had the most amazing experience and life-changing moment. I was at the beach with my kids wearing my normal one-piece bathing suit, and I saw another mom. She was there with her daughter. Not a small lady, not a fitness model. She was in a bikini, playing in the sand with her child, and she was beautiful. Her stretch marks glowed like patches of honor. I looked at her and saw absolute perfection. I went out and bought a bikini that week. If one mom sees me in all my glory and gains the confidence to do the same and feel proud of her body, then it's worth it. I started back on my healthy path, but instead of having physical goals, I have fitness goals. Like instead of wanting to be a certain weight, I want to run a certain distance. It's liberating. My belly grew babies for 1,120 days. That's an amazing thing. I want my daughters to know that beauty of a woman's body is not what it is on the outside, but what it can do. I want my son to respect the woman's body and love imperfections in his wife. I want my kids to know that imperfections in them is what makes them perfect.
I have always been very confident in my body. I struggle occasionally now. I don't want John to think it's ever okay to judge anyone's body, so I want him to see me being proud of my body.
There are days I wish I was slimmer, leaner, faster, or stronger, but then I remember all my body has done. In this body, I met my husband. In this body, I married him and made our first child. This body has made 4 beautiful, healthy, and strong boys. This body has taken me to places I never thought I'd go and will continue to take me places I have never been. Maybe there will be a day when this body is strong enough to climb mountains again, but for now, it is soft enough to soothe a newborn baby to sleep. It is gentle enough to comfort a bruised toddler. It is powerful and quick enough to wrestle 6- and 7-year-old boys to the ground in a heap of giggles. My body is everything it needs to be for my husband, for our children, and most importantly, for me.
I had my son at 19 years old and my daughter 15 months later. My body dropped the weight easily, but gaining the weight during pregnancy was hard on me. I have stretch marks on my thighs, hips, stomach, and breasts. I didn't get them until 2 weeks before my son was born. I almost made it. I labored naturally, delivered naturally, and we live a natural and organic lifestyle. I also breastfed my son and am currently breastfeeding my daughter. Breastfeeding has been equally hard on my breasts, and no matter what I did to prevent or erase the stretch marks, they still stare back at the mirror. Loving the scars gets a little easier every day, and I hope someday I can love them as much as I love the babies who awarded them to me.
When I was pregnant with my daughter, now 3 years old, I didn't gain much weight and I didn't have one stretch mark. I was in a bikini and my regular clothes when she was 3 months old. When I became pregnant with my twins, I gained over 60 pounds. When I went into labor at 37 weeks, one day, I was 224 pounds. I was horrified by how my body changed, the stretch marks that covered my entire stomach and hips. My twin boys weighed 7 pounds, 5 ounces, and 6 pounds, 5 ounces. I was proud of how I grew some healthy babies, but after they were born, I sunk into depression. My stomach and hips were grotesque to me. Almost 5 months later, and I still cannot fit into my regular clothes. I can't bring myself to buy new ones either, in hopes that one day I will be able to fit into my clothes again. My babies are healthy and happy, but I've struggled every day since they were born with my flabby and scarred stomach. I no longer burst into tears and sobs when looking at the clothes I no longer wear, and the healing and acceptance is coming slowly. I want to show the world that a post-pregnancy body is nothing to be ashamed of. That when they look at the beautiful children they grew inside them, that they too are beautiful. These are my perfect flaws of motherhood.
No more will I be so self-conscious.
No more will I let anyone tell me that I'm not enough.
No more will I hide my imperfections from myself and from the world.
No more will I pick myself apart.
No more will I wish to be thinner.
No more will I judge myself.
No more will I obsess.
No more will I be ashamed of who I am and the way I look.
No more will I look at my body with revulsion.
No more will I hide the scars.